I hope you're going to wash those potatoes before you do anything else with them.
Well, I might.
They look right filthy to me.
Well, they came out of God's good earth. What do you want?
Well, so does the dirt. You want to go out and eat that while you're at it?
I have done it before, and I'll do it again before I die, and
Doris,
whence I will return to dirt.
Doris, bring a couple of tablespoons of dirt in from the back. I want to see Mr. Johnson.
How are you doing,
I'm
Mr.
doing
Bly?
great. I'm doing great.
I'm doing good, too. You know, after we've had all of this summer weather around these parts recently, today it's snowing.
And it's wonderful. We need winter.
It is.
You need a little winter once in a while.
We do. Makes every.
I think I need a little comb in addition to winter. Where's my comb? Didn't I hide a comb away here the last time?
No.
What is with that? I keep thinking I've got a comb, and it's not
Well,
there.
if you were organized, you'd bring one like I do every time.
Oh,
Would you?
well, yes, I would, but don't watch me. Makeup.
Oh, forget
Go to
it.
him.
Give it up. We want to welcome back one of our original camera persons today, Mr. John Boettcher. We're glad to have John back.
Who was on our first show back in 1912.
And, of course, he has a major league, big executive responsibility around here now. But
and they
today,
still pull him out of his executive suite and bring him down here and make him, and it's just
I
wonderful.
thought it was real cute a while ago when they were trying to tell him how to turn the on and off switch to make the camera work. But we are glad to have John
never
with
forgets.
us today.
He never
he
forgets.
doesn't.
This is his 15th or 16th generation of cameras.
Right. All right, well, let's bring the old witch in.
Oh, here comes the witch.
Today I'm ready for her and could even see her.
I think you're getting better with the
I am. I'm getting real good.
I say it's getting better.
I'm going to have the other one fixed here in a little bit. Dear L&L, we need some help. My husband, Spanky, and I are having a bunch of his friends over for a brunch to watch the games on TV next Saturday. They'll all be here. Big Boy, John Boy, Thumper, and his girlfriend, Miss Claudie, and Snookums.
Snookums.
They are all big eaters. What can we fix for this hungry horde? The last time they were here, we had 5 buckets of chicken and a dozen pizzas.
Good heavens.
Little Nerman, our son, tried to reconstruct the chickens from their bones just like the scientist on TV. Spanky had to smack him for playing with everybody's food. In other words, we need something cheap and without bones.
Well, now that you've read that...
And it's, wait a minute, it's from Drusilla and Spanky Burpee of La Brea, California.
Well, the letter lasted so long we don't have time to do anything. So good night, folks. See you around. Oh, well, we are going to do breakfast. We're going to do breakfast stuff. I'm going to do sausage gravy, and I got to tell you, I have never, you know, I come from a great gravy-making family. I can make gravy out of anything. I can make gravy out of dirt if you want me to. I know you're excited about it. This gravy starts out with soup. And sherry, cooking sherry.
Oh, well,
I don't think I've ever had gravy, sausage gravy with sherry on it.
Well, you know, my recipe, I'm doing Maggie's Super Potatoes, and it's got soup and sherry in it also. And this was sent in by Maggie Keeler of Charlestown, West Virginia. Doo-dah day. That's where they have the Charlestown races.
By the way, Rose DeWolf, the wonderful DeSoul that she is, who writes for the Philadelphia Daily News, has done a wonderful article on us. It says, Cookin up some laughs. There we are. And it's a wonderful article.
Well, thank you.
This came out the other day. Thanks an awful lot. She didn't say a single rude thing about us.
Well, that's
not
amazing.
too much.
Well,
anyway.
those people in Philly have got their act together.
And lastly, but not leastly, I've been asked by Miss Carol to open this. This is something for me. I don't know what it is. You know, I get gifts all the time.
Perhaps it's a set of combs for your hair.
Here is a new mascot for your kitchen. It was carved by my husband, Mike. Her name is Ms. Cookin Cheap Cook. Well, that's a funny name for a man, isn't it?
Yes.
For her husband. Oh, this thing is called that. She reminds us of the Cook sister, so we thought we'd send it along. Watch out, though. She's fun but quite stern. You may find that if one of you forget to pick up one of the grocery items you need to cook the day's recipe, she just might whack one of you with a spoon. Other than that, she'll keep good watch over your kitchen. Janet and Mike Corica of Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh, wonderful.
Corica.
Hold on to that stuff, Fly. You could use that instead of that toupee you were thinking about getting.
Well, Lauren, look at that. Where are we? She does look right stern, doesn't she?
Sealed for our protection.
Looks right shiny, too, I might add. Let's take her out of her little bag and see. How long do you think she stay fresh in there? Well, she is right severe looking, and she does look like the Cook sister. Well, thanks an awful lot from Duluth, Minnesota. one of these 6 viewers on that network we're on.
Okay, let me start because
Go
it's
ahead.
going to take forever.
Go ahead.
I've got 4 big baking potatoes that I have to rinse off, and then thinly sliced, and a half a great big cooking onion. Okay, so it's all yours.
Well, what I'm doing, I have a 2-pan routine going over here for the sausage gravy. I'll tell you, this will be real interesting. I am browning, and it's looking very nice and brown, very slowly brown, a little Jimmy Dean sausage. Doesn't matter what kind of sausage. I shouldn't even mention the brand, but Jimmy lives here in our state of Virginia, you know. So anyway, just taking care of local people. So anyway, that's a whole pound of that. And use mild, or if you really want it hot, you can use the other, but I don't. And Mr. Johnson he just gets a little nervous when things get a little too hot, spicy-wise. And so in deference to him, I'm using mild sausage. In another pan, I am warming up some, just a little bit of oil. And what we're going to put in there right now is an onion. And we're going to throw that in there and brown that. And all of these shall come together momentarily into a single dish. It'll just amaze you. So there we are on that. And brown those just a little bit. These are now pretty much ready, and I can start adding some other stuff. But before I do, I have some mushrooms that I have cleaned, and I'm just going to chop those mushrooms up. And I might even throw those in with the onions, though you're not supposed to. You're supposed to put it in something else, but I don't care. Laban?
All right, well, I'm going with these potatoes now. Folks, you can go a lot faster if you cut the potatoes in half. Then you can use your superior knife techniques a lot faster in slicing these bad boys right on up. This is just like they do on the high-price shows.
Oh, by the way, my recipe also requires you to bake some potatoes. So I have indeed baked
for sausage gravy.
Yes, this gets served. This is just a strange recipe. It gets served over baked potatoes. How about that?
Holy moly.
So I've done that, and I'll nuke that in a couple of minutes when we get ready a little closer to the thing here, to the doodah.
You know, I'm only doing half of this recipe because I said this looks like it's going to feed an army. Well, half of it feeds an army.
Yeah.
So if you send in and get this recipe, you can cut it in half, and it still works fine and would still serve 6 or 8 people without any trouble.
I'm going to drain off a little of the grease off in this sausage.
Or where are you going to drain it? Down in the sink and clog up the plumbing?
Uh-huh. Plumbing wasn't worth too much to begin with.
Well, I guess that's the truth.
Worth even less now. Well, you know what? This was pretty lean stuff. There really wasn't much in there.
Mm-hmm.
Almost disappointing. I have nothing to crab about. Nothing to complain about.
I made some turkey chili the
Well, I
other
was wondering why this stuff wasn't frying any better than it was, and I had pulled it. You know, these things don't have natural things on them to tell you when you're on the eye.
Uh-huh.
So I was over here in the corner somewhere. No wonder it wasn't working so well. These things will fool you. They'll sneak up on you. Well, while you're doing that, I guess it's going to take a little bit in it. I'm going to start adding some stuff to this. So
Okay,
we have
right
browned
ahead.
the sausage in the pan, and we have drained it well. And now we add the sherry. It calls for 1/4 cup of sherry. Or just empty the bottle. You think I'm going to take all that back? 1/2 cup of sliced fresh mushrooms, or a small, well, I'm going to add that in a minute. I'm sauteing those over there right now so they get done. A teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce.
You know, I have a
That's
feeling
close.
that they would not approve of this down in the country.
Oh, I think that in the Shenandoah County you could be arrested for making gravy like this. And besides, they'd never waste all that sherry in gravy.
They drink
Just
it while
wouldn't
they
have
were...
anything to do with that.
Although I can't believe anybody up in your neck of the woods would actually drink sherry anyway.
No, they wouldn't. 1/4 teaspoon of dried basil. They would date sherry, but they would never do anything like that. Sherry was a good woman. 1/4 teaspoon dried rosemary. A little of that in there. It's supposed to be crumbled. I don't have time. 1/4 teaspoon of lemon pepper. Got some lemon pepper. Well, that should be the greatest plenty. And a pinch of seasoned, I don't have any salted. Can I just have some ordinary old salt?
Here's some.
Some
I don't know.
ordinary old salt would be wonderful at this point. And that goes in there. Thank you very much. And stir that all around and just saute that a little bit here until we get the next part of it done. Johnson. Ooh, that smells very good with all those basil and rosemary and all that stuff in there. Are you still chopping?
Now I'm chopping onions.
He just never stops chopping.
Or slicing onions, rather.
Well, okay, I can add something else here. I've got the onions and mushrooms. I just threw the mushrooms in there so they get done, being that we're doing this on TV and we don't have all the time in the world. And I'm now going to add all that into the sausage and the sherry and the whatever else was in there. Was there beer in there? I can't remember.
I don't think
some kind of liquor, but I can't recall what it was. I don't know much about it. Okay, there we go. That goes in. I'm going to cut that back up again. And in a few minutes we'll add, did I add basil? I think I forgot to add the basil. Oh yeah, I used it out of my own little container there. All right, and that in a few minutes we'll add the rest of it, and I'll tell you what that's all about.
Now I'm adding about a tablespoon, remember I'm only doing half of this, of finely chopped fresh parsley. So I'm just chopping this bad stuff up just as quick as I can.
How long does it take to nuke a potato at 100% capacity?
What do you want, just to make it hot?
I want to make it hot.
About 30 seconds.
Actually, I kind of would like to make it hot enough to burn your lips.
Oh, no.
I just love it when he complains and huffs and wheezes and blows and snorts. I'm putting it on 3 minutes. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the last thing I got to do here, I guess, is I have to add this soup. Where does it say to add the soup? Where's that at? I'll stir in the soup until well blended. And this is cream of celery. And you know what you might do? You could use cream of mushroom too, by the way. And what you might consider doing is, if it gets a little too thick, I'm sure you could thin this down with a little water at this point.
Now
goodness knows we don't want to throw any more sherry in there. We won't be able to remember breakfast.
I'm just going to chop up some fresh dill that I got at the grocery. You know, it's so nice to be able to go in the grocery store these days and buy fresh herbs.
We have finally just some wonderful selection here now. Just terrific stuff in the stores, so that's great. This is looking real nice. And it's smelling pretty good too, but I'll have to admit I don't traditionally think that this is gravy. And I think I am going to add just, do you think I ought to add just a little liquid to that? Or should I just let that sort of settle in?
No,
Huh? Hammerstrom thinks it needs. Everybody in the studio thinks that it requires.
This is democratic cooking.
Okay, democratic cooking says, survey says, add water. Yeah, we're going to put it on a potato, so it's got to stay fairly thick. I'm going to cut it up a little bit, so it'll. But you know, normally you would add water to soup anyway. You don't want to get too runny.
Now I'm going to add to mine a half of a giant can of cream of mushroom soup. This is a family-sized can of soup in the familiar red and white label. All of you know what it is. It's a 26-ounce can, and this is half of it. So that goes into this mix along with the fresh dill and the fresh parsley.
That's a mighty big pan. It must make 100
Oh,
pounds.
it
Did
does.
you say that's
I'm
just
telling
one
you,
half?
It makes a tremendous amount.
Is that just a half?
Yeah, that's just half.
How
And
many
then,
does it feed?
I would say 8.
Does it say? It does.
It's 8, and the whole recipe would serve at least 16 people.
By the way, this was
is
sent
a
in.
cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese, low fat, of course.
I'm surprised you hadn't already been in it.
Nope.
You weren't eating it on the way over here in the car, were you? My recipe was sent in by Maggie Keeler of Charlestown, West Virginia. I used to go up there every week, every month of my life.
And not to be outdone, Mr. Bly, I'm going to put in about a quarter of a cup of sherry also.
Your quarter of a cup, I think, was even bigger than my quarter of a cup.
And then
I'm cutting this off now. It's done. It's ready. All we do is just keep it warm at this point.
And
Doesn't it look pretty? It really is an interesting recipe. Isn't that nice? Just full of goodness. Look at that. Just bubbling away in there with all those wonderful herbs and spices. Woo!
All right, now
What's
I've
not to like?
got in some rosemary, and it's going to have a teaspoon of lemon pepper, and this is a special blend I have. So,
oh, I'm telling you, I get so excited when it snows. I can just hardly wait to get out of here and go sled riding.
and now we're going to use my special blend of seasoned salt that I gave you last year. You remember that?
Oh, it was good stuff.
And if we can get a wide shot, who does this look like? Bah! Nobody said it. You're supposed to say bam, bam. One of those high-priced chefs does that all the time.
It looks like Bam.
Uh-huh. That
I
he
must
throws
not-
stuff in, and everybody in the audience yells bam. Give it up.
I don't watch
All right.
any of those shows. I don't even watch this show. Why would I watch their show?
You ought to watch it sometime.
What, this show?
Yeah.
You wouldn't catch me? Oh, yeah, oh, sure, I'll try it sometime.
Uh-huh. Oh, now wait
I
a
need
minute. I
the
have
plates.
left out something.
Yes, ma'am. I need the plates. Miss Doris is going to get her plates. She just came in without her teeth. It's just awful. And I didn't want to bring her on.
Oh.
She forgot about them. Now, actually, she's going over to the table to get her plates so that I can just prepare this directly onto the plates that we're going
This
to eat
is
them on.
a half a pound of broccoli, and I've got to chop it up. Because it was in big... I couldn't find a pound package of chopped broccoli, so I had to get the full-size spears and just cut them up.
Supposed to do that when it's still frozen?
No, you have to let it thaw out a little bit so
Oh,
you can
okay.
cut it. All right, now all of this goes in. And you could add other vegetables
now?
to this, plus you could add ham to make it a main dish.
Uh-huh.
All right, now, once you get everything in there, then you have to stir it all up real good. So maybe you can bring...
I have never
Mrs.
seen such a
Ford in.
lump of stuff in my life.
It's a mess. I'm
Miss
telling you.
Ford's coming in.
Good.
Doris is here. How you doing, Doris?
Fine.
Have you been a good little girl since the last time I saw you?
I'm always good.
And when
She's talking into my
I'm always-
kneecap.
Well, I had to make a fruited tortilla, and I tell you to take
a fruity tortilla.
a fruity tortilla, and I drove 96 miles trying to find fresh strawberries. Went twice to the store, called them up, didn't get an answer. Had a toll call. I still didn't get the fresh strawberries, so I had to use frozen, and I don't know how this is going to work. And I'm going to use my fingers here. I had to take strawberries, and they're kind of mushy now from being and apples, and put them on this tortilla. And I think I'm not sure whether there's a mistake in this recipe or not. It called for a tablespoon of cinnamon in with your brown sugar, and it just seems like an awful lot of cinnamon. It says sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and the cinnamon sugar on it, roll them up, and put them in a pan like this. And then, here it is. And then a half a cup of orange juice. It said pour over. I guess you pour it on top of all of them and put it in the microwave for 3 minutes.
Missed that one right
Well,
there. You didn't do a
it's
very good
underneath
job on
there.
that.
It's not very much to put in there, but that'll have to do. And then now I put it in the micro. Excuse me. I don't have enough room here. I have to put it in the microwave for 3 minutes now, and you serve it with sour cream or whipped cream.
Okay, do it.
So that ought to be pretty good. Let me get this out of your way.
Thank you.
Got enough room here?
So now here's how you serve this. You take this, and I have heated these. I baked these potatoes prior to coming in. And then what you do is, and I've just heated them back up again, open them up, and you serve this over top the potato. Look at that. Serve as a stuffed potato type of thing. Ooh, you know that's going to be wonderful. Okay, there you go.
All right. Now, with mine, you put it in a large casserole. The directions say cover it with foil. Good idea. Then bake it for an hour and a half. Take the foil off and bake it for another 20 minutes. If you're doing half of it like I am, you need to cut that down. So bake it for an hour, take the foil off, and then bake it for another 10 or 15 minutes. and it comes out looking beautiful, as we'll see in a minute. And let's give these recipes.
Sausage gravy, a small onion chopped, a half a tablespoon of vegetable oil, a half a pound of bulk mild pork sausage crumbled. I think I said a pound, but anyway, a quarter of a cup of sherry, half cup sliced sauteed fresh mushroom, or you can get it right out of the can. A teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a quarter of a teaspoon dried basil crumbled, a quarter of a teaspoon dried rosemary crumbled, a quarter of a teaspoon of lemon pepper, a pinch of seasoned salt, and a can of cream of mushroom or celery soup, and also a couple of baking potatoes.
And the super potatoes call for 8 medium russet baking potatoes, 1 large cooking onion, 1 package of frozen chopped broccoli, 2 cups shredded cheddar cheese, 1 26-ounce can cream of mushroom or celery soup, a quarter cup of sherry, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a tablespoon of dried parsley or 2 tablespoons of fresh, a teaspoon of dried dill or basil or a tablespoon of chopped fresh, a half a teaspoon of dried sage or rosemary crushed, a teaspoon of lemon pepper, and a half a teaspoon of seasoned salt, and go to the oven with it. And it turns out really well. And let me get mine out of the oven while we're...
Oh, this is so exciting.
Well,
it's eating time here on the old set of Cookin'
Now let's see if we can actually get it out.
He's going to try to get it out, and I bet he doesn't have that little pokey thing that he brought in a couple of weeks ago.
I
That's
don't.
so clever and so...
My arms are plenty big.
Your arms have seen the glory.
They have.
What that means. Okay.
All right.
Take your time, just trip and fall. Now be careful, you've got your foot caught in your...
Yes, I
just
see.
watch what you're doing.
I can't watch it
There you
and walk at the same time.
There
Now, what
you
can I put this on? Doris, is there a trivet over there? I don't want to burn the tablecloth, although I'm sorely tempted.
I don't think anyone would care. Well, it looks pretty. Look at that. It's beautiful. Put some of that beside a lot of stuff here. This looks like a right heavy
I think that's
meal.
Probably enough for you there.
I think that's a right heavy meal.
I think it is too.
I think that one of these would be the greatest of plenty. Both of them is entirely too. Of course, you wouldn't normally be serving potatoes with potatoes anyway.
Right. Oh. Let me try this.
It would be so much better if
gravy.
the potatoes were done. Hand me that little thing over there, and I'll get you some of Doris's stuff.
Ooh. Sausage gravy is real salty.
I'm telling you. Just like it's supposed to be, I guess. Here, have one of those while you're at it. I think this is entirely too much food. Just entirely too much food. I haven't even got to try the potato and the gravy yet. You say it's too salty?
It is right salty. What is that?
Just, you put sour cream or...
Another camera appearance.
Holy cow.
Well,
Means she gets
I
paid double.
I have to drive a long way to get here.
Well, you do.
You need to put sour cream or whipped cream on it.
Oh, I want to try this.
Well, I like sour
Tortilla.
cream. Why don't you take whipped cream?
I did.
Uh-huh. I think it's still frozen. I'm not having any luck at all. Even this meal is so big and blobby, I can't even get it on a fork. What do you think?
Well, the frozen tortilla seems to be real good. Oh, did I say that? I'm
it
sorry.
tastes a little frozen. Tastes a little frozen to me. It's good.
It's real good.
I think all of these are fine. And I didn't add any. I just a little touch of salt to the mushrooms. Obviously, don't add any.
Don't you think it's just a little?
Just a little bit. I don't know why that
potatoes
is.
are real good.
Everything is. It's so fabulous. I may just sit here and eat for the rest of the evening.
Well, go ahead. I think it'd be real funny to see you
thank
do
you.
that.
After
Well,
they turn the lights off and
Come
go
on
home.
back next week.
Bye.
Find out more about Cookin' Chief by visiting our website at cookinchief.com.